Hey, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy, and today I'm taking a look at Survive, Escape from Atlantis. This is made by Stronghold Games. Plays 2 to 4 players. You can get an expansion go up to 6, I believe. And it plays in about 45 minutes. So let's take a look at what's in the box. I actually have the expansion of this game, so my box is kind of overflowing right now. But you get this massive board. I mean, the thing is huge. It actually fills up the typical Stronghold box, you know, that square big one that they do, and it is massive. You're also going to get a pretty good rule book with a helpful guide on the back, what the tokens do, land pieces. Instructions are pretty easy. You will reference this a few times the first time you go through it, just to go back and say, well, what about this? And you'll look a few times, but once you get it, it's pretty self-explanatory based off of what's on the back of the manual. Then you also get these really cool, now side note, I am doing the 30th anniversary edition, so this is different than the old one, which is crazy that this game is 30 years old because it doesn't play to me like a 30-year-old game at all. But you're going to get these really cool tiles that are different levels. So you've got the sand tile that's really thin and the mountain tile that's really thick, the forest tile that's in between. So 3 different levels of tiles, different levels like that. You're also going to get these really cool wooden boats that are so cool, and they have 3 slots that your little meeples are going to go in. Then you're going to get, and so there's different meeples in the game, and the meeples all have numbers written on the bottom of them. These are plastic. I kind of wish they would have done wooden ones just to match everything else, but that doesn't really change anything. These little plastic meeples, and then they have numbers written on the bottom that have been filled in with some paint, and so the numbers stand out really easy to read very quickly. But your boats have 3 little slots on them, so you can load up your meeples inside the boat and then move them around the water really easily. You're also going to get these nice wooden monsters. So you get these black sharks that sit in the water and look really cool, the blue whales, and then the serpents. And so all of these sit really nicely on the board. You don't have any trouble with them falling over. And then you also get a monster die. And so this has sharks, serpents, and whales on it. So that's what you get in the box. The insert is pretty cool. It fits everything really nicely, so you can shove everything in there. I've got a few of the expansions, and even with those expansions and the extra spaces on the side, they all fill up, and you can fit everything in the box. So how do you play Survive? At the beginning of the game, you're going to take all of your island tiles and you're going to set them up. They've got this dark outlined edge that shows you where the island will go. And so you get to place all these out, and it's going to be randomized. And I don't want to take all my time in the video setting this up, but basically you're going to create the island. Because the tiles are upside down, you can't see them. Each game is going to be different. You have no idea what is where on the board. Once you get all of the tiles placed out on the board, you're going to take turns placing your meeples. Now your meeples range in points from, I believe, 5 or 6. I think 6 might be the tallest, the biggest one. Yeah, there's a 6. 1 through 6. And so at the beginning of the game, you're able to look at the numbers on the bottom of them. But once you place that meeple onto the island, you will never be able to see what it's worth until the game is over. Even if a meeple is removed from the game, which happens a lot, even if that happens, you're still not able to see what number it is. And so that keeps you guessing throughout the game. Some people have great memories. It's not going to be a problem at all. They'll remember exactly where their guys are. But for most people, like 3 rounds into the game, you can't remember if that was a 6, a 5, 2, 4, whatever. And so that makes it really interesting. So you'll take turns putting your meeples around the island, which is pretty cool, placing on different levels. And then the game begins. You're going to place serpents at each one of these locations, and then one in the middle. This guy will only be released when all of the island tiles have been taken, and then he can get out. So he's kind of stuck there, hungry and waiting for the game to release him. So let's talk about how a round works. Oh, that's cool. I put them upside down. In Survive, it takes place over a few things that you're going to be able to do. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take 3 actions or 3 movements. And so you can do that in any combination of ways that you want. You can move one guy 3 spaces, or you can move 3 guys 1 space. However you want to do that, your guys, obviously not anybody's guys, but your people, you can move your guys 3 spaces. You can use a turn to, if there's an available boat, you use a turn to get in there, so that'd be 1, 2, and then I could use my last turn to move the boat 1 space. That will be all of my turns. And so once you do 3, any combination of that, then you're going to pick a tile to remove from the game. And they go all the way, they start with the lowest sea level to the highest. In essence, the island is sinking, and so obviously the beaches would go first, then the forest, and then the mountains. And so it really kind of does give you this feeling that the island is actually going down in the water. So you'll pick a tile to remove from the game. This could be a tile that has a meeple on it, and if you remove that tile, then that meeple instantly goes in the water. So you'll flip over the tile, and it's either got a green tile, it's either outlined in green or outlined in red. If it's outlined in green, that means go, like green means go. You instantly do whatever that thing says. So like this one I flipped over and it has a boat. So I would actually put a boat in that space, and lucky dude just got put in a boat for free. There's other things instead. There's a shark attack. So if I flipped it over and it was green and it was a shark, then I would instantly put a shark in that space. Because he's a swimmer, he gets eaten by a shark. And that guy, in one fell swoop, he's gone and out of the game, just like that. So if that was your 6, which it was, that guy just lost 6 points, and he's not very happy about it. But he'll find that out at the end of the game. So green means go. And like I said, on the back of the instruction manual, they tell you what each one of these tokens do. There's sharks, there's whales, there's boats, there's a whirlpool, and then finally there's the volcano, which is the end of the game. Then the red ones are ones that you actually save. So at the beginning of your turn, you get to say, I'm going to use a token. So actually, before you even do your movement on the second round, after you go through one time, if you have any of these, you could place it and use the power that comes along with that. And so these powers range from all kinds of things. Like you can swim. If you're a swimmer, you can go 3 extra spaces. So let's say you had a dude in the water, and I could move him 3 spaces for free. In essence, a dolphin came and helped move the swimmer along. Another one is a boat, so I could move the boat 3 extra spaces. And then there's the monster tokens. So the monster tokens say that I could move the serpent to any unoccupied space on the board. So let's say there was 2 guys in the water there, or a boat in the water, or whatever. I could move my little serpent a space away from them. I can't destroy them, but I can get them really close to being destroyed. Same thing with the shark or the whale. I could move any shark or whale that's already on the board to any adjacent space that I want to. So those are kind of neat. And then there's 2 other red tiles, and these are like, no, you can't do that tiles. So if somebody tries to attack you with a shark, you could say, nope, I've got the anti-shark card, play that, and then they have to do something different. And the whale, same thing with the whale. So that's what these tokens do. So like I said, you do make 3 movements, you remove a tile from the game, and then you roll the monster die. And so you roll this, and you do whatever it says. You move whichever monster showed up, you get to move that one, if they're available. If there aren't any sharks or whales on the table, then you can't do anything with them because they're not there. But let's say you move the serpent, then the serpent, each one of the monsters move differently. The serpent can only move 1 space at a time. So he's really slow, but he's really powerful, because the serpent destroys people in the water and destroys boats. So basically, this guy lands in your space, all hope is lost, you're gone. The next one is the shark. The shark can move 2 spaces, 1, 2, but he only attacks people. So if there's a space where there's a boat, and he goes into that space with the boat, nothing happens other than, that's pretty creepy, there's a shark right there. But if there's a floating guy in the water and the shark moves in his space, he's gone, thrown out of the game. That's so sad. The whale, on the other hand, he can move up to 3 spaces, so he can move further, but he only destroys boats. So if you got some boats in the water and somebody moves a whale into your space, then the boat is destroyed, taken out of the game, and then those meeples are instantly put in the water and become swimmers. the boat is removed from the game. So that's how the monsters work. So let's say you're playing a 4-player game. When you make a movement, you know that there's 3 chances ahead of you that your opponents are either going to move a serpent, a shark, or a whale, and they could hurt you. So even though you have the best plans in the world and you've got your boat right here on the edge of the shore waiting to get your meeples off, they could still come and attack you. And that's how you get points in the game. The points